Derek, I was going to ask you what's next. Obviously, they probably want, as you said, a more experienced guy along with these freshmen in the backcourt, along with Brandon Podziemski, who certainly could compete for some playing time here. So you reported about Courtney Ramey. John Rothstein followed that up today, saying Illinois is on his list. Obviously, Brandon Murray taking a visit. A lot of people think Georgetown with Kevin Nickelberry, former LSU assistant, is sitting well there. And Terrence Shannon's name keeps popping up. So ideally, realistically, who do you think Illinois can land in the transfer portal?
I think if you're talking ideally, you hope to get one of Brandon Murray or Terrence Shannon. Like you said, Georgetown having that established in with Nickelberry being his lead recruiter at LSU. And we'll see if that ultimately pays off. It's going to be a quick decision, as it's been reported. He'll decide on Monday. But the fact that he's going to make a quick visit tour here and check out Illinois as well. And Chester Frazier's familiar with him from back. The fact that they're both from Baltimore, and Chester recruited him at Virginia Tech. And I think that, again, in terms of a need and immediate opportunity, similar to a Skyy Clark, I think that Illinois has a decent amount to sell with Brandon Murray, and they're certainly very, very high on his upside, a guy that had a very good freshman year in the SEC and someone they think could take a big stride forward, particularly just becoming more efficient shot maker. So him being 6'5", 215, Terrence Shannon 6'6" rangy, athletic, as explosive as anybody in the portal. So you're able to get one of those guys that could really impact you in two ways and play well in transition and just be a really stout defender too. And on that note, look at the point guard spot potentially. And that's not to say you couldn't ride with Epps and Skyy Clark, or maybe if Skyy is getting back to being a little bit more with his burst and everything, could play that true point, but he's probably just more of a scoring right now. I think you want someone that has played at the college level and is maybe a little bit more geared toward facilitating. That makes sense to fit with them, and a leader in that backcourt too. And on that note, I think Courtney Ramey makes a pretty good amount of sense. I think that it'll just depend on what Courtney has in mind for his role, because being taken off the ball, not entirely at Texas, but he was more in an off-ball role this past year. Maybe he wants to be, I think, the primary guy with the ball in his hands in a lot of situations. How much scoring does he see in terms of, is he the A1 guy to be? I think in general, the one thing I like about him is he's been adaptable, similar to a Trent Frazier, just kind of someone that doesn't have to be your primary option offensively. He's really dialed in defensively as a very renowned on-ball defender. He's tough. I think that there's a lot to like there, and Illinois has familiarity with him already. He can play closer to home in that sense, and they developed a guy that was in his same class and similarly ranked in Iowa. So I think that those are things that potentially stand out with him. If Ramey doesn't decide to seriously consider Illinois, or if that doesn't ultimately work out, I think it'll be interesting to see who else emerges in the portal. I can't really point to another guy as a point guard, but I think that's something they will continue to evaluate. And then again, on that note of Murray and Shannon, those are their top two guys, but a big two-way guard is certainly going to be something they're going to continue to look for and try to pull that in.